Let us be concerned with one another. This is a Lenten message of Pope Benedict XVI. According to Pope Benedict XVI, the season of Lent is a time to reflect on the heart of Christian life. He points out that the heart of Christian life is charity. In other words, love. He refers to the love of God, which is expressed in our love for one another. In other words, our concern for each other and the good works that flow from this concern. So this is the central message, the central theme of the Pope's Lenten message. The text that he uses as a basis for the Lenten reflection comes from the letter to the Hebrews, chapter 10, verse 24. Let us be concerned for each other to steer a response in love and good works. Hebrews 10:24. So what is the meaning and implication for concern for each other? Concern for each other means attentiveness, responsibility towards our brothers and sisters, responsibility for our fellow human beings, for our neighbor. This requires overcoming our isolation and indifference born out of selfishness. The Pope speaks about the spiritual anesthesia which numbs us to the suffering of others. We no longer feel for their suffering, which makes us unconcerned and incapable of showing mercy for others. The Pope identifies what hinders us from caring for others: the possession of material riches and a sense of self-sufficiency, the tendency to put our own interests and problems above all else. He says that we can be so wrapped up in our own affairs and problems that we fail to hear the cry of the poor. Thus, we need to go out of ourselves, to stop being self-centered and inward-looking, and to turn our attention to others. This means regarding others not as strangers or threats, but as brothers and sisters in need, that we have to be concerned with and to care for. When we cultivate the way of seeing each other as brothers and sisters, solidarity, justice, mercy, and compassion will well up in our hearts, says the Pope. We learn to look upon others with love and compassion. We recognize our connectedness with others, our communion with them. We become selfless rather than selfish. According to the Pope, to care for others means attentiveness to the integral well-being of others. Integral well-being does not just focus on one aspect, the physical or material, but also the moral and spiritual well-being. He says that concern for others entails deciding what is good for them from every point of view: the physical, moral, and spiritual. He associates what is good with whatever gives protects, and promotes life, brotherhood, and communion. Thus, concern for others means becoming aware of the needs of others, physical, moral, and spiritual needs. Of course, we have to respond to the basic needs of others. We have to respond to their material and physical needs. We have to care for people, most of whom are poor, hungry, who lack the basic necessities of life, who are sick, imprisoned, who are victimized by violence and injustice. But that is not enough. We can do more. We also have to respond to their spiritual needs. We have to be concerned for their spiritual well-being. The Pope says, we are sensitive to the idea of charity and caring about the physical and material well-being of others, but almost completely silent about our spiritual responsibility towards our brothers and sisters. What does it mean to be concerned for the spiritual well-being of others? The Pope mentions an aspect that has often been forgotten. It is fraternal correction in view of eternal salvation. This requires admonishing a brother or sister who is committing a sin. This was practiced by the early Christian communities and traditionally considered as among the spiritual works of mercy. Fraternal correction was regarded as part of the prophetic mission of Christians to speak out against those who indulge in evil. The Church, according to the Pope, has to recover this dimension of Christian charity. The Pope reminds us that we must not remain silent before evil. We cannot remain silent before evil. He emphasizes that the admonishment must be motivated by love and mercy rather than recrimination. The denunciation of evil is accompanied by a call to repentance and conversion. Being concerned for each other always implies reciprocity. It is not a one-way process. This requires mutual caring and support within the context of the Christian community. And it is why that we have to emphasize the need for a communitarian dimension for caring for one another, especially in the context of basic ecclesial communities. We need to develop communities at the grassroots level where the members really care for one another. According to the Pope, this mutual correction and encouragement in a spirit of humility and charity must be part of the life of the Christian community. So during this Lenten season, as we spend time in prayer and reflection, let us ask ourselves, how much have we shown our love and concern for each other? Are we really attentive to the needs of others? Do we really speak out against evil and engage in fraternal correction? So these are the questions that we need to reflect on during this Lenten season.